The safety case regulations came into law in 1992 following recommendations made from the inquiry into the 1988 Piper Alpha fire and explosion. Before starting operations, the duty holder must submit a safety case to the UK regulator for assessment, and approval must be obtained before operations can commence. Within a safety case, the duty holder presents arguments and provides evidence that all major accident hazards have been identified and that risks have been reduced to as low as reasonably practicable. This is known as the demonstration of alarm. The duty holder must be able to demonstrate at any time that the installation is safe and not just state that it's safe and simply rely on the existence of the document. The safety case defines the conditions under which it is safe to operate. When those conditions change, safety must be reassessed. The regulator then uses the safety case as a benchmark and carries out inspections both onshore and offshore throughout the life of the installation to test whether reality matches what has been claimed and whether the commitments made in the safety case are being met. During an inspection, the regulator is not asking whether a safety case exists, but whether it still reflects how the installation is actually being operated. The regulator has enforcement powers available should they judge that the safety case is no longer valid and that risks are not being controlled as described. The safety case regulations are goal-setting, meaning that although they specify what should be included within a safety case, they do not prescribe exactly how risks must be controlled. It is therefore up to each duty holder to decide how they will make their case for safety and to provide evidence that their chosen approach works in practice. Within a safety case, you will typically find a description of the installation, including key equipment and operations, a summary of the major accident hazards and the safety environmental critical elements relied upon to control them, a summary of the key risk assessments supporting these claims, a description of the safety and environmental management system, including the work processes used on board, the arrangements for emergency response, and the evidence that the workforce has been consulted and involved. The safety case should be available to everyone. You will find a copy offshore and electronically within your organisation's management system. Personnel are expected to be familiar with the major accident hazards and controls described, not because they wrote the safety case, but because their decisions may affect whether it remains true. The safety case document on its own does not reduce risk. What matters is the work behind it, the risk assessments, workforce engagement, and keeping its content under regular review. Safety cases most often stop being accurate when change is not recognised or treated as significant. This includes equipment changes, procedural changes, organisational changes, temporary repairs becoming normal, working practices drifting under pressure, equipment substitutions being assumed to be like for like, or degraded barriers being tolerated. Over time, the document continues to describe the intended system, whilst the installation operates in a different reality. Many of the changes that undermine safety cases look reasonable at the time, which is why they must be actively questioned. When mismatches are not raised, the safety case can drift quietly out of date without anyone realising. What matters is recognising when reality no longer matches what is described. If you spot an inaccuracy, become aware of a key process or procedure that is no longer being followed, or see barriers operating in a degraded state, you must raise this with your manager or the HSE department. Raising these mismatches early is a critical part of keeping the safety case accurate and major accident risks under control. Maintaining the safety case is not a paperwork exercise. It relies on people noticing when reality no longer matches what is described and taking responsibility to speak up. If mismatches are not raised, the safety case cannot remain accurate and major accident risks increase. Recognising and escalating these moments is part of everyone's role in keeping the installation safe. To summarise, first, the safety case defines how major accident hazards are controlled and the conditions under which it is safe to operate. Second, the demonstration of duty means safety must be provable at any time. Regulator inspections test whether what is written still reflects how the installation is actually being operated. Third, safety cases most often become inaccurate through unrecognised change and drift. When reality no longer matches what is described, that mismatch must be raised to management or to the HSE department.